Okay, hey, hello to everybody out in quarantine land. Uh, this is today's lecture. Also tomorrow's lecture for the AP classes. We only covered two headings in class. We had a quiz over the philosophers. Um, and so I'm going to go ahead and cover these. I'm going to cover them kind of quick. The quiz next time is to know 10 laws leading up to the American Revolution. Um, and then we had a little assignment about the Declaration of Independence, so I'll show that to you. And I've got a little, I'm going to see if I can play the video, the section of the video that I played in class. All right, so the whole thing, try to get through the whole thing in about 15 minutes. A lot of interaction in class. But at any rate, so here's the laws. All this, none of this is old, new to you. The law that made everybody mad was proclamation. The first law didn't really make people mad. Daniel Boone disobeyed it. Other people disobeyed it. Proclamation of 1763. Remember, you can't move west of the Appalachian Mountains. Okay, number 2 is the Quartering Act. Also, the Sugar Act going on about the same time, 1764. And what they're doing is they're enforcing the Navigation Acts. You're not supposed to trade with anybody but Britain. And they're, so Britain's, making them just trade, cracking down on like the smugglers, John Hancock and so forth with this one. All right, number 3 is a big one, Stamp Act, tax on paper. Remember, a lot of stuff's made out of paper. Sons of Liberty get all mad. They call it taxation without representation. They didn't have any representatives in Parliament. All right. So then you kind of got, so the pattern is the law, and then the back down, the backlash, and then the back down, and then the crackdown. So, the back down was getting rid of the Stamp Act, and then the crackdowns, the Declaratory Act, saying, hey, we can tax if we want to. So then they passed that tax, Townsend Acts, tax on glass, lead, paper, paint, and tea. Leads to the Boston Massacre. All right, so then you get the back down. So you get backlash is the Boston Massacre. Back down is just keeping the tea tax, only getting rid of the tax on glass, lead, paper, and paint. Okay. The Tea Act gives the monopoly to British East India Company. So the Tea Party comes from that. All right, so then you get the crackdown. In Title Blacks, they're closing the ports and legislatures. First Continental Congress is presenting a list of grievances and storing up weapons. So then you get this shot heard around the world at Lexington. They're coming for the guns at Concord. So after the first battle, Second Continental Congress meets and they appoint this committee of 5 to write a Declaration of Independence. All right, I'm going to breathe a second. So, there's more than 10 things in our list there. You need 10 things in order for the quiz. Okay, this is the only other thing we did in terms of taking notes. Like I said, there's a portion of a video I played. I'm going to try to do that here in just a second. But limited government concepts. Let's see how far. We got these two. I'll go ahead and do the third slide. So limited government's the idea the government can't just do anything it wants to. There's limits on it. So you can't have tyranny, you can't have a dictatorship, you can't have somebody who's all powerful. So that's just the notion of limited government. The rule of law is the idea that the government and the people have to obey the law. So like when the president breaks the law, that's when you have impeachment proceedings taking place. The wall efforts to build the wall are in the name of the rule of law. Some laws don't get enforced, such as marijuana laws in certain states. All right, and then I guess this summer kind of thing, you got this thing called broken windows theory. Just how strictly should the law be enforced? And broken windows theory says, if little crimes are being committed, you got to crack down on them quick. Or else bigger crimes are going to get committed. Slippery slope kind of thing. But then you got, the protests over the summer over police brutality. And so, the effort of, that phrase, defund the police, saying that you don't want to enforce the law too strictly. So, kind of a debate there. All right, finally, constitutionalism is the idea that the people in the government have to obey the law. I'm sorry, have to obey the Constitution, and if they violate the Constitution, you got the impeachment, so forth. The Constitution limits the power of the government and the actions the government can take. All right, there's those questions. I'm gonna breathe. All that took 8 minutes, 9 minutes. All right, let's go over here. Let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to YouTube. And I'm going to see if I can get my channel. I'm going to see. You can text Trump at 88822. So we go right here. There we go. And then I think it's like the second row. And it is... So let's see if it'll play here.
Took me to do that Declaration of Independence. All right, not long. I'm at 7.
Okay, we're going to back up. This is the recording I made on the essential document. Essential documents prior to the AP test last year. So we're going to, jot a few things down about what I said about the Declaration of Independence, and then I'll post some questions like on the website. Here we go.
Blessed, we're the kids trying to move out of the house. And so, I mean...
Let's go back just a little bit.
Order, I've got it kind of in the order. So I'm going Declaration, Articles, Constitution, Federalist 10 and 51. Then I'm going to go Brutus. All right.
But you stop it. I'm going to stop it at the end of the Declaration. About 5 minutes worth of that.
There on the side. Then the 70 and 78, the executive and judicial. Then letter from Birmingham jail. I believe that's the order I'm going with. Okay, so let's pull it up right here and let's see how we do here. All right, so Declaration of Independence. All right. So the first paragraph, the Corey guy describes it as the breakup letter explaining why we kind of want a divorce, or we're the kids trying to move out of the house. And so, I mean, I've said this stuff before, but a couple of things I noticed about the first paragraph. He says, when in the course of human events, one group of people wants to dissolve the bands that tie them to somebody else. And then I thought this was interesting, and assume the equal station which the laws of nature and nature's God. So it's going to kind of appeal to like enlightenment and religion at the same time. Entitled them a decent respect to the opinions of mankind impels that they declare the cause. So that first paragraph of the Declaration is one.
Oh.
Why are we doing this? All right, so then you got the famous part. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Notice you got the that's. All right, so he's gonna, he's going that. All right, so that. All men are created equal. That's self-evident, okay? That they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That's self-evident. That among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's self-evident. So we don't even have to argue about these things. All right, so he's saying we don't have to, there's certain things, we're assuming certain things. We all agree on this, all right? Now, that's a revolutionary thing to be saying that all men are created equal. We've talked about that. For Jefferson to be saying all men are created equal. But let's keep going. So he's saying this about, who we are and what rights we have. All right, then the number 3 there, the purpose of government is to secure these rights. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, driving their just powers from the consent of the government. So that's consent. Popular sovereignty. The government is based on the consent of the government. Popular sovereignty. Power of the government comes from people. That, there you go again, with the last of the that's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 that's. Whenever any form of government becomes obstructive of these ends, is the right and the duty of the people to alter or abolish it. All right, so the right to revolt. All right, popular sovereignty, consent of the government, the right to revolt. So it's this pretty simple theory of government. Government exists to protect our rights. If it doesn't do it, we can get rid of it. No, we've got rights. Government exists to protect our rights. If it doesn't do it, we can get rid of it. All right, then it's the he has section. Now, I started looking at our old American pageant books, gets real specific, does a really nice job of referencing the particular laws. All right, so here's some of the things he has done in that big long list of he has. He's dissolved governments. That's the intolerable acts. Closed the ports and the legislatures. Prevented population of states. That's the proclamation of 1763. Won't let Daniel Boone move out west. Sent swarms of officers. That's the navigation acts. Sent swarms of officers to enforce all these laws. Quartering large bodies of troops. So that's quartering. He's actually kind of referencing the Boston Massacre, like in the cities. Taxing us without our consent. Taxation without representation. Declaring for themselves, invested with power to legislate for us. So after the Stamp Act, remember you've got the Declaratory Act, so he's referencing the Declaratory Act there. Transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries. That's the Hessians, mercenaries, people they're paying to fight. And excited direct domestic insurrection among us. That's like the offer that's encouraging slave rebellions. In the South, offering slaves their freedom if they'll join, the loyalists, if they'll join the British. So that part is oddly a reference to slavery after he talked about all men being created equal. But if you start looking, first time in a long time, I've decided, okay, I'm going to go through really specifically and look at some of these he hases, and somewhere or another, so it's a good exercise. Even for me, having taught this stuff for 25 years now, I noticed that the he hases, if I look closely enough, match our list of things that we memorize that the government's doing. The Navigation Act, Sugar Act, Quarter Act, Stamp Act, Townsend Act, intolerable acts, all that stuff. It matches up pretty well. All right, then at the end of it, after he has done all these things, we don't have a choice. These were united colonies are right ought to be, and he's got it in all caps there. I think I'd forgotten that if I had ever knew it. Free and independent states. So it's just a real logical thing. All right, we've got to explain what we're doing. Why? Why are you leaving, honey? Well, I'll tell you. All right, hey, I've got rights. Government's supposed to protect those rights. If government doesn't do it, we're going to get rid of it. All right, and you hadn't done it. So we're free and independent states. So very logical and very.
Okay, so I think that worked pretty well, didn't it? Okay, so if I go over here, the other thing we did in class was we read the Declaration of Independence, and there's some questions that go with it, and let's see if they come up maybe like this. Yeah. So there's the questions that go with it, and you're answering 4 of those questions. Don't write the question. It's just designed to get you thinking about. And I'll try to post the questions on the website, on the Google Classroom. But I'm doing pretty good if I get the recording out. Okay, so read the Declaration of Independence, pick 4 of those questions, and answer them. Just getting you we're hitting essential documents really, really hard. So that's tough. That's tough if you're getting quarantined right now, because about half of the essential. There's probably about 10 essential documents. About half of them are over the next week. Declaration of Independence, Articles of Confederation, Constitution, Federalist 10, Federalist 51. All right. Okay, but I think that takes care of us. And I'll try to post this and also send on emails to people and so forth.